I'm Danny Wallace, and this is Be Inspired. Be Inspired is a safe place to have conversations that matter. We bring the very best speakers to you and also the very best in edutainment, where we entertain and educate at the same time. This event is for businesses that are ready to get gloriously uncomfortable as we show up, wise up and rise up together.
Everyone has really got each other's backs.
What Danny's created, second to none. Nobody else is doing this.
I've cried or had, several aha moments in every one of the talks today.
Be Inspired is genuinely one of the most amazing things that I've ever done.
They have made me feel part of the community.
But everybody has just seemed to embrace me, and people talk to me like they've known me for years.
It's been really nice meeting different people, and everybody's just been so lovely.
This isn't an event for women, it's for people in business. And that energy and that inclusivity has been reflected throughout.
There's nowhere else where you'd ever feel so held and so safe and so looked after and so loved.
I feel like there's something for everybody to hear.
But what really differentiates this event is there is a huge element of love.
And I've met people that I would never otherwise have perhaps connected with in business from loads of different walks of life.
There is so much that big brands and corporates can learn from the flexibility and the tenacity and the energy of young and startup businesses. Similarly, there is so much that small and startup businesses can learn from big brands, and it's my job to pull everybody together.
The ways I feel supported by Be Inspired, and in particular the Fly Anyway Foundation, is it's given me hope that I can actually achieve the visions that I have for myself in the future, such as having my own community interest company and actually having the business aid to make that happen.
You're talking about such amazing things that help you as a person and as a business in a way that doesn't feel gross.
The foundation's been amazing because it's hooked me up with people I never would have known about. I'm just off to this perfect start. From humble beginnings, where we were struggling to sell like 75 tickets, we are now selling out time and time again. Over 250 delegates, all energized, engaged, hungry for growth entrepreneurs wanted to show up, wise up and rise up. We are putting Be Inspired on the map here in the northwest of England as the place to come and collaborate, to network, to listen, to grow, to learn, and then to take action, as well as enjoying the journey together. We want you to come and get involved. Whether you are a part of the audience or indeed becoming one of our exhibitors or sponsors, this is definitely something you do not want to miss. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday's show at Wise Up Rise Up Show with me, your host, Danny Wallace. I hope you're feeling good. I keep watching that promo for Be Inspired, and it never fails to get me excited. And we are now officially in Be Inspired month. I've had a few people asking me about tickets. There are about 15 tickets left, and then we are sold out. So if any of you are sort of waiting or, I really want to come, I've not got a ticket yet, please go to imthequeenbee.co.uk and go and grab hold of your tickets. So this week, I set myself a little task of showing up for myself every day, putting on some makeup and setting myself up for the work day, because I'd not that I hadn't been, but actually the act of putting my makeup on is a little bit of self-care. I enjoy doing it. I did a whole show on Monday morning where I put on a full face of makeup, and then things went a little bit wobbly. So what I mean by when things went a little bit wobbly is that even though in the grand scheme of things are okay and business is absolutely fine and all my clients are wonderful, there's some stuff going on in the background that means I'm holding on really tight. And, I've shared a little bit of that, not kind of without sort of hanging my dirty laundry out here on social media. It's definitely not something that I'm in the business of doing. Certainly not until I'm in a position to reflect. But it has meant that I've been holding on quite tight to showing up, having a look at, what can I pull back on and just breathe for a second with. And sometimes that's absolutely necessary. And one of the beautiful things about having your own business is that we sometimes have to make those decisions. Sometimes we have to make a decision to go, I have to clear the decks today. It's important. I have to make an appointment at the doctor's. It's important. I have to make sure that I do all the family admin. It's important. And this week has just been one of those weeks. And I kind of knew it at the beginning. It's why I felt like I was putting my war paint on. I felt like I was coming into this week like prepared for battle. And it's funny. I don't know if anybody else, please let me know in the comments if you've ever found this, that you think about life and business and life, and you think about, relationships or friendships and work and money and kids, if you've got kids, and all of this. And each one of those things is a plate to spin. And sometimes I find that when one thing's going really, really well, it means I've been spinning all the plates in that direction, but it means that some of the plates on the other side of things get a bit wobbly, right? And that's definitely been the case. Like where the reason why I feel so overwhelmed is there's a lot of things going on if I look at it in the grand scheme of things. So as you know, we've taken Eli out of full-time education. He's at home all the time now. And really difficult to navigate when work is so labor intensive. I'm not telling you these things this morning for you to feel sorry for me by any stretch, but to remind you that if you're finding spinning the plates difficult, everybody does. We all do. And what we've got to do is two things. One is make sure that we're creating space to regulate, make space to try and, if you're feeling overwhelmed, to like hover above everything from a macro level and say, okay, so what is it that I'm overwhelmed about? Where's that feeling of overwhelm coming from? If you're feeling anxious or fearful, where's that feeling of anxiety or fear coming from? What's it rooted in? And a lot of that is, has been sort of where my head has been at this week, has been checking in. I make no secret of the fact that I have a generalized anxiety disorder. I have like obsessive thoughts, so a version of OCD that doesn't present sit with compulsions, but an intrusive thoughts. And when that is amplified, I have to look and say, okay, well, where's the root of this? Because it's very easy, I think, when you're experiencing anxiety or when you're experiencing intrusive thoughts or whatever it is that if you do experience these things, I'm so sorry if you do. I'm with you. I get it. But when you do, there's a trigger for it somewhere, and it will trigger some behaviors that might not be helping you be your best self, right? So being self-aware enough and being able to check in real quick and say, right, where is this coming from? Where's the root of this? Generally, it's something from within myself. Do I need like intervention? And what do I mean by intervention? I mean, like, do I need to clear the decks, go and take a night away? Or do I need to go check in with the doctors and see what's what? Do I need to check out medication and stuff like that? And there's absolutely no shame in any of this, none whatsoever. And I think that the reason why I talk about it is not because I want anybody to feel sorry for me. It's that I know I'm not the only one experiencing this. And a lot of you guys that watch me on the regular, especially if you've not long since come across me, will think, she just turns up and she feels great all the time. And it's all jazz hands all the time. And it isn't the case. It is an ongoing healing situation, an ongoing growth situation. And sometimes that can get really tiring. It can get really wobbly. And last couple of weeks has been just that. So hello, my loves. What are we saying? Morning, Danny and everyone. Can't come this year with work. Oh no. Well, we've got two big Be Inspired styled events happening later on this year. So Ideas Fest, more on that in the coming months, and also our September event. And tickets will go on sale for that at the end of this month at Be Inspired. I'm coming with Case Story. Better go get your tickets. Stop what you're doing. There's not that many of them left. I'm finally taking the decision to put my business in a holding position while I work on my true and whole well-being. Sloan, it's such a good idea if you're able to do that. It's such an incredible thing to do for yourself. Sometimes we've got to put the plates in the dishwasher and breathe 100%, and do that in a way, where the world doesn't fall apart. The world doesn't have to fall apart whilst you do the things that are going to help you regulate. You know, it's really a case of going, what can I do right now? What's within my power to do right now? What's within my power to not do right now? If I don't do this thing, is the world going to fall apart? If the answer is no, then you're going to have to say, I'm not going to do this thing. Saying no to things, saying, actually, you know, I have an opportunity to do some social stuff. And whilst I would love to do some social stuff right now, my in-between moments need to be spent at home with the children. It is an absolute necessity because work in other aspects will take me away. And without being funny, my work's pretty social. So, you know, I've had a lovely few opportunities, a lovely few events that I've been able to go to in the last couple of months. It might mean that this month, maybe next month, that I don't do those things, and that the space that I do get needs to be a little quieter, needs to be a little bit more reflective, needs to be a little bit more hugging my kids, needs to be a little bit more doing something with those. So this week has been about sort of freeing up that bandwidth, checking in with myself, understanding, you know, what are the feelings that I'm feeling? Where is the fear? If there's fear involved, where's that fear come from? What am I scared of? Is it a rational fear? All of that. And I have got the most incredible team who have absolutely got my back. And you lot as well, the most incredible community who've got my back. So I want to say thank you to everyone that's been checking in. I know and I'm aware that the tone of some of my posts, so when I'm talking kind of cryptically about this, some of you that are close to me, they might not know some of the underpinning stuff that's going on right now, might be worried, but don't be. And the reason why I say don't be worried, I've not got the weather map on show. That's better. I was having a real good chat with my sister last night. We took ourselves to the caravan and I was like, I need some breathing space. I need to talk out, externally process some of the things that are going on right now, where, you know, like the kids aren't around, or, you know, where I can sort of speak freely and feel freely. And I think that's really important, that whenever anybody's going through anything, you've got some feelings to feel along the way, right? And one of the things that I've learned quite viscerally is that if you don't allow yourself to feel completely valid feelings, they're only going to go somewhere. The body keeps score and it's going to come out somewhere else. So it might come out via burnout. It might come out via an angry outburst at somebody that you don't particularly mean. It might come out in creating distracting activities for yourself where you become avoidant of the thing that you actually need to look at and avoidant of the thing that you actually need to be working on. So allowing myself to sit with how I feel about some things is really, really important. And sometimes that might show up like I'll have a little cry, or it might show up like I'm gonna put myself in my car and go and listen to sad songs for an hour whilst I allow my body to just feel whatever it is, sadness, anger, whatever. And the interesting, like I saw a little video about anger, particularly. Not that I'm feeling particularly angry right now, but anger particularly. And it's not the feeling of anger that we feel like is negative. It's the behaviors that sit around that anger. So if you don't allow yourself to feel angry and to process that feeling, then it will come out in behaviors that are the negative aspects of anger. The same with sadness. If you don't allow yourself to feel it and validate how you're feeling, then it will come out in a different way that might be more harmful than actually sitting and going, do you know what? This is sad. I feel sad. And it's okay for me to feel sad about it, and just allowing it. Feel then deal. Absolutely, Jojo. It's definitely one of the mantras of the moment. Morning, lovely. So important to sit with our feelings. Yeah, it really is. We run away so very often from what we perceive to be negative feelings and negative emotions. And actually, what's worth, and which I'm riffing this morning, there's no like real. Normally on a Friday, you know, we get together and we celebrate our wins. And I want to know what's been a win for you this week. I want to celebrate the shit out of you. And even though I've been processing some emotions that don't feel good, they're not dopamine hitters, right? They're not filling me cup up of it. The win for me this week has been allowing myself to feel some of the feelings and not dismissing. So if I felt shame, for example, then looking at the emotion of shame and saying, okay, where does it come from? When is it most amplified? What actually is it? What am I feeling shameful about? What am I feeling ashamed of? Okay, where does that come from? And actually, the whole thing is an awareness experience. So the win for me this week has been allowing myself when something quite big is going off to not lose my shit. And it feels like it a little bit when you're feeling your emotions, but once you allow yourself to feel them, you don't necessarily have all of those real negative attached behaviors to them. It's a really weird thing once you start becoming a little bit more self-aware around how you're feeling, especially when you're throwing the curveballs, especially when the big stuff's popping off, especially when those things are happening. If we don't make look, this Laura wrote, and she speaks beautifully on this. Her entire business is built around this, and she spoke at Be Inspired. Can you believe, Laura, that it was this time last year that you were speaking at Be Inspired? I find that absolutely crazy. If we don't make time for our wellness, we'll be forced to make time for our illness. Absolutely. And that isn't just sleep. It's not just rest in the biblical sense, like, oh, I need to go and take a nap. It's rest as in I need to take myself out of this situation, put myself out of context, go for a walk. For me, it was last night going to the caravan and actually physically going, all right, how am I feeling? I'm feeling sad. Okay. What am I feeling sad about? Okay. Is this feeling valid? Yes, absolutely it is. Okay. So what can I do to help this sadness? Because every emotion that you feel is your body trying to keep yourself safe. Like anger, for example, is your body, your brain, your chemistry trying to keep you safe. If you feel angry at something, it means that something unjust is happening. And if something unjust is happening, there's a degree of unsafety around something. And therefore, we've got to work out, okay, so I'm feeling angry. How do we channel this anger? Does it just need an outlet? Is it something that I can change, right? And if we think about, a prayer of serenity that's used within sort of addict circles, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, essentially, is that. But it's living by those things, even in the most difficult of times, and understanding that sometimes the things that you cannot change, you could potentially influence, as long as it's not to the detriment of yourself and your safety. So yeah, it is important. And I've spent time this week actually allowing myself to do this in a way that I really haven't before, honestly, to A, make decisions that are difficult, B, allow myself to feel emotions around those decisions and those emotions to be valid, and C, then consider, okay, so I'm feeling these emotions. What healthy things can I do in order to process? Do I need to listen to some music on the loud? Do I need to jump in the car and drive around for an hour? Do I need to go to the doctor and get some meds? And the answer is, for the most part, yes to all of those things. Do I need to go out for a walk? Do I need to see my friends? Do I need to pick up the phone when my friends have said, you can ring me anytime? I pick up the phone and ring them at any time and know that that is an offer and not a burden. Not apologize for sharing with my close circle what's going on and how I'm feeling, and them knowing me well enough to ask the question, Dan, do you want advice? Do you want me to fix this? Or do you just want me to listen? And for the most part, I just want space held. I don't need anybody to fix anything because there's nothing really to be fixed. I just need to feel some shit. So yeah, it's been, so what a funny thing to celebrate. What an interesting thing to celebrate. But definitely something worth considering, and definitely something worth talking about. And if I think about the premise of the Show Up, Rise Up show, and I think of the premise of Be Inspired, it's having conversations that matter. And it would be wrong of me to sit here and go, it's been an amazing week this week, and we've ripped it up, we've smashed this, we've met this, and these clients are happy, and this is my testimonial, I'm excited about being inspired. I am. And all those things have been going on. But the important work this week has been within actually what am I feeling? Okay, validating it, because everything you feel is completely valid. because it's your truth, right? It's your body's truth, subconsciously or consciously. What behaviors or what regulatory things can I do with and for myself that's going to help me process them instead of reacting? So there are two ways, right, that you can deal with emotion is reaction and response. And we want to be in response of and not in reaction to. So the reaction is like that knee-jerk in the moment situation, right? And a lot of people find themselves in that knee-jerk reaction situation, and sometimes that can be really detrimental, and it can cause drama, and it can give you even more to navigate through, and it can cause more trauma. Whereas actually, when we're in process, when we're in response, we can work through these things and really consider how to keep ourselves safe. And yes, that might mean improving boundaries, but you can have healthier conversations around that. It might mean saying no to stuff, but having healthier conversations around that. It might be saying yes to stuff and having healthier conversations. It might be choosing healthier things. And that'd be good, right? So reaction that I might have had in the past would be to go and drink. Whereas actually being self-aware and saying, okay, what am I feeling? I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling shameful. I'm feeling this, that, and the other. All right. Is a bottle of wine going to fix this? Is a bottle of wine going to fix this? And the answer is no. You're going to numb yourself for the next few hours. Then you're going to feel more anxiety because alcohol triggers anxiety within you. You're already feeling anxious. You're going to exacerbate the problem. What's a healthy thing to do? I'm going to light a candle and watch some shit television and just get out of our mind that way for a minute. I'm going to go in the car and listen to music. I'm going to get out of my mind that way for a minute. So reaction versus response has been the win for me this week, has been responding to how I'm feeling in the moment instead of reacting to how I'm feeling. And even though sometimes it feels like it can bubble over, because sometimes those emotions are strong, right? Having enough really trusted people around me to say, you know, we're going into reaction here. What's our response to this? And that's a huge win. This love is my jam this morning. Oh, Laura wrote, I love that it is. Big self-awareness celebration, Jojo is saying. Needed to hear this today. Taking the actual time to listen to you are probably the win of my week. That's incredible. I don't know who this is, but I'm sending you a big cuddle if you needed this today. And what I tend to find with the show, Rise Up Show, is that if I'm experiencing something, chances are 10 times out of 10, there is somebody else out in the community that is feeling this way too. And one of the joys of being able to have been on this journey, to be on this continual healing journey, to be surrounded by the people that I'm surrounded by, to be taught by the people that I'm surrounded by, means that I get to use my superpower, which is my ability to articulate, to then share what the navigation has been around that, and hopefully provide a little bit of insight or a little bit of space held for you lot who might be feeling it also. So that's my win this week, has been a self-awareness celebration, has been, being in response and not reaction, has been allowing myself to feel feelings that I don't like, but are necessary in order to keep myself safe, being able to process them in a really healthy way. And that's allowed me to maintain really strong boundaries. That's allowed me to keep myself safe. So yeah, actually, huge win this week. Moving into next week, something really exciting is happening. So lots of you will know that I'm very, very good friends with the phenomenal Lisa Johnson. My week has been so similar. I feel you when I hear you. It's slow and I get it. And taking that time is so important. I'm just sending you a huge, huge hug and I love you loads. So some of you will know that one of my dear, dear friends is the phenomenal Lisa Johnson, who completely changed my life. So she's got a book at present. It's currently a Sunday Times bestseller. She's absolutely ripping stuff up. And I feature in that book talking about how I completely changed my life around, how I built this business, essentially, how I built IATQB and eventually the Fly Anyway Foundation. I did it entirely through utilizing the tools and tips and techniques that Lisa teaches with regards to things like recurring revenue and semi-passive income and what have you. From next week, me and Lisa are going to be linking arms on something pretty special. Something big this way comes for me and for Lisa. something that you, if you haven't already, are going to want to be a part of. So you're going to have an opportunity to learn from the both of us as we link arms for something really super special. So please keep your peepers peeled on your emails and on our socials through today, on into the weekend, and on into next week. I'm going to be helping you get involved with something that is potentially life-changing. And I don't mean that in any small way. I know that it completely changed my life. You guys have watched my journey for the past 3, nearly 4 years now. And we are teaming up to help teach you how to do the same. So keep your eyes peeled. We are going to be linking arms in the next week, and that's all going to be kicking off from Monday. So really lovely things to look forward to. We now have a venue. We're just finalizing for the 27th of April. So the music gig, the No Business All Pleasure gig, featuring myself and also the fabulous George Alfie and his band. So details are coming out on that over your emails, on the socials. We're just having a poster made up right now. And now we've got our venue in place. It is in London. It's in London. On the 27th of April. Tickets are going to be £15. And the link to that, I want you and all your friends to come. I want us to go and have a party together. Just go and let our hair down. It is an all pleasure, no business, all pleasure gig featuring myself. I'm going to be singing a little songs for you. And also George is going to be performing a brilliant set as we showcase him and his band. And we're going to be filming it as well. So please do come and get amongst it with us. Yeah, so that's really, really exciting. It's just a purely social thing, an opportunity for those of us that are into music to get together, celebrate new music. Let me sing for you, entertain you. It's going to be an absolute banger of a night. So please put that date in your diary, the 27th of April. And also the 23rd of April is the Fly Anyway 10K. Training has now started for that. Thank God. I think that's definitely something that's going to be helping me and my mental health, is doing a little bit of running. But on the 23rd of April at Heaton Park, applications to come and run, jog, walk, wheel, conga, dance with us is going to be wide open, and I can't wait for you to come and get involved. So you don't have to train for it. It is a fun run. You could just come on and rock up and walk around the park with us. But what we are doing is raising lots of lovely money for the Fly Anyway Foundation. So please do, if you're not going to take part in it, at the very least, make sure you chuck some coppers in the bucket for it. And I think that's it for today, my loves. Keep your eyes peeled on my socials for all of the fabulous updates coming with the partnership that I am participating in. It's not even right. Partnership that we're having, me and Lise. Keep your eyes on that next week. And also more speaker reveals as we draw ever closer to Be Inspired March 2023. Just 15 tickets left. If you haven't got your ticket already, please go to imthequeenbee.co.uk. Go and grab your ticket right now, because once we are sold out, we have no more capacity. All right, my loves. Have a phenomenal Friday. Have a lovely weekend. Rest, replenish, take time for you, party, do whatever it is that you're going to do, but look after you. Keep yourself safe. Keep each other safe. Thank you to everyone that's checking in with me. I'm good. I'm all right. I've got you guys behind me. How can I fail? Right.